how to prepare for a panel discussion as a panelist. Congratulations, you're going to be a panelist coming up in a panel discussion. That's awesome. Hey, guess what? Do us all a favor. Don't just show up and think that you're going to be brilliant. In this video, we are going to share all kinds of ideas about what you can do to prepare to be that not only a good panelist, not even a great panelist, but a frickin' awesome, powerful panelist. Let's find out how. You know, panel discussions fly by. There's really not a lot of time. And if you want to be a smart, brilliant, frickin' powerful panelist, you need to give some thought about how you're going to convey your key messages on point strategically in that limited amount of time. In this video, we are going to be covering how you prepare for a panel. In this video, we're going to be covering the 6 key things that you can do to be that amazing, brilliant, powerful panelist, and then 3 optional things. And I'm going to share with you a story that will make you memorable. Let's dive in. For the first thing that you do when you're preparing for a panel is to have a chat with the meeting organizer but essentially you really need to talk to the panel moderator. So it's a little chit-chat, a tete-a-tete about why this panel, why now? Why did they pick you? Why did they pick the other panelists? So that you can get a sense for context. Yes, you've gotten your invitation, and yes, your panel moderator is going to brief you. But why you? What is your secret sauce that they're looking for from you? Next, you want to think about the audience. Hopefully, the meeting organizer or the panel moderator has given you a sense for who they think is going to be in the audience. Now, that could be just a general demographic feeling most of the people in the audience are going to be between the ages of 20 and 40. They're mostly females, they're from manufacturing, whatever. Get a sense for who's in that room. I always like to pick a couple of people that I know personally that fit that demographic and go, you know what, if you were attending this panel, and maybe they will be, what kinds of questions, what kinds of information, what would you be interested in? What would make you sit on the end of your seat, lean in and go, oh, I can't miss that. So you want to think about your audience and what they want to know. You could also tap into social media. What's the audience talking about right now? What's trending? What's going on in the industry? What's going on in that space? So that maybe you can tap into some of that recent information and be able to present it so that it's fresh and novel and relevant. Another thing that you can do to prepare is to research your fellow panelists. Who are you on the panel with? Now, maybe you know them all. I don't know. Chances are there's at least a couple. But even the people that you know well, you might not know their take on this panel. And in fact, I think it's a nice idea that after you research them a little, now you don't have to stalk them, honestly, but just kind of get a sense for what their opinions are in that space of the topic. Call them and have a little chit chat about who they are, what they're doing, or establish some rapport. Get a sense for where are you in agreement and where are you in disagreement. Now, don't hold the panel discussion, but kind of get a sense for where they are positionally in regards to the topic. Another piece is that as you're talking to the panel moderator, the panel moderator probably has already told you kind of what they have in mind for the format. It might be a very traditional style format, or if you have a really good moderator, it's probably going to be really interesting, something that actually makes you lean in. I like to do what's called segment formatting, where each segment has something new and interesting, so it kind of shifts gears. And the feedback that I get from my panelists is that they go, oh my gosh, this was fun. This was a lot of fun for me as a panelist, and it's fun for the audience. So you want to know if you have a panel moderator that's going to do the tried and true, the traditional panels, or they're going to try something new and different. Just ask your panel moderator, okay, so what's the format? What's the structure of this panel? What's the agenda? Is the simplest question, and you might be surprised at what you hear. Okay, so here's the real work in preparing, is that you identify 3 takeaways or 3 main points that you go, based on my research, I've talked to the meeting organizer, I've talked to the panel moderator, I've researched my audience, I have a good feeling for what they need to know. Now you need to do the real work. It's really not that much. Is roll your sleeves up and say, okay, so what are my 3 points that I want the audience to know, think, or feel? What do you want them? And then what's a story to back that up, to follow that up? And then what's my tweetable soundbite? Or what's the headline that would make it memorable? And then how do I make that story come to life? How do I do that? That is your biggest piece of work. The other stuff, it's all like little chit chats that you can have. This is when you sit down, you roll your sleeves up, and you say, okay, this is how I'm going to put it together. So let me give you an example of how the power of preparation can help you with this. The best panel, one of the best panels that I've ever seen, was a panel with Sally Hogshead on the panel. Now, she was one of the panelists. The moderator was Scott McCain, and there were Bill Backrack, and we had Brendan Bouchard. And so that's a pretty powerful group of people. And so Sally was talking about the importance of branding. And her point, her tweetable soundbite, was good is good, being different is better. So what I remember, and that's why I'm stumbling over the first part, was being different is better. So her story involved Jägermeister. Now, she worked for Jägermeister, and Jägermeister is a very different kind of alcohol. It's a very different drink. As she's telling the story, she pulls out a bottle of Jägermeister as a prop. Now, just by me pulling this up, didn't this make you kind of go, huh? That's interesting. It's a prop. I'm using the prop. And she pulled out some shot glasses. And as she's telling the story about Jägermeister and how the branding of Jägermeister is different, you don't have to be better in the alcohol class. Most people will tell you Jägermeister is not good. It's actually tastes like cough syrup. It's not good. The issue is, in branding, are you different? You don't have to be better. You have to be different. Be different. And as she's telling this story, she's pouring shots. And the whole panel did a shot of Jägermeister on the stage. It was hysterical. The entire audience was loving it, eating it up, and remembered being better doesn't necessarily get you branding. It's about being different. Why do I remember this? And this is years and years ago. Now, I did ask Sally, I said, so did you tell the panelists what was going on? She goes, no, but I did tell the meeting organizer I was going to do this. And she said, fine. So it's an extreme example, but think about it. What is something that you can do that brings your story to life? I was doing some work on the Chesapeake Bay, and we were talking about introducing a different strain of oyster into the Chesapeake Bay, and the panelists brought an oyster. And like, this is a Chesapeake Bay oyster, and this is the different strain oyster. See how they're different? They're not like another. It was so fascinating. Think about how you can bring your message to life with a story, an example, a demo, a statistics, an analogy, a comparison, an illusion, anything that you can do. Finally, think about your final takeaway. There will be an opportunity, I hope, where the panel moderator looks at you and says, so what is the one thing you want people to walk away from? Or there's a final takeaway. You have probably 30 seconds to say something. People will remember that last little bit, probably more than anything else. That little bit, they will probably remember far more than anything else you've ever done, other than pulling out a bottle of Jägermeister. But think about that last final takeaway. Wow, that's a lot so far. It's not that much work. The hardest part of the work is just having a couple of chit chats and rolling up and figuring out what your key takeaways and how you're going to bring them to life. If you got a good idea there, I invite you to hit the like button and like this video. And if you want more ideas and tips being dropped right into your mailbox, please hit the subscribe button. Okay, these last 3, these are optional because they may or may not apply to you. You might be cool as a cucumber, but if you're a little bit nervous, you might want to role play with a friend or a colleague to kind of throw you some questions and then see how well you respond to them concisely. That's the biggest challenge for panelists. You've got this much information, but you've only got this much time. So a little bit of role play to help you understand what your key messages are conveyed succinctly. Optional number 2, if you are in a heavily regulated industry or you think you might be saying something that may be a little controversial, you might want to run it past the legal team or your boss or somebody just to make sure that you're not doing something that they don't want you to be doing. You might want to check out the panel moderator. Like, okay, what's their style? I'm going to look for some videos. I'm going to look to see are they really a professional or are they just doing this on the side? Check out the panel moderator, get a feel for what their style is. Are they very traditional? Are they more engaging? They're more energetic? Or what? Are they Oprah? Or are they more Ellen DeGeneres or Kelly Clarkson? What's their panel moderator style? I always liken it to talk show hosts. They all have different styles, and to get a sense for what their style is will help you be able to work with that a little bit easier. I'm just curious, what do you think is your style? I love to ask that question of panel moderators. Like, what do you think your panel moderator style is? Are you an Ellen DeGeneres, an Oprah, Kelly Clarkson, or just if you have a style, I'd love to hear from you. Just put it in the comments below. See, it's not that hard to prepare for a panel discussion. A couple of chit chats, you roll your sleeves up, figure out what your key takeaway is, your final point, you're good. But if you go, Kristen, I would like a more comprehensive checklist, I got your back. We've got something at powerfulpanelist.com/panelists that you will enjoy. Hope to see you back at this channel, and I'd love to hear how your panel went.